this is our biofilter. Right now the pump is on and we do have water pumping out through the outlet that's going from this hose down to the bottom, and it comes up through the gravel and out there. This right here is the sock filter. It's used to remove the larger solid pieces, and at least every week, maybe every few days to begin with, you will need to take out the sock filter and empty it and clean it out and then replace it. So the way we do that is first we have to turn off this pump. This could be done either by turning off the main switch in the enclosure or by pressing the plant bed green button. Right now I think I'll turn off the system. Okay, right now the pump is off, and you can tell because the water flow is clearly decreasing. So we have this nice U-handle to help take this off. And here's the sock. Right now there's just a little bit of dirt in here, but the way you would empty it is just flip the sock inside out like this. And then you'd empty the dirt somewhere outside of the system, and then you can clean it in a bucket of water. And then you replace it. And you have to be very careful not to drop the sock completely inside the tube. That is really the only thing you have to be careful about with this. And once it's back in place, you can reattach the coupling fitting, give it a nice shove, and then you can turn the pump back on. And there we have it.
Okay, so here we have the fish tank. And if you focus on the water for a little bit, what you'll see is like 3 areas where there's bubbles coming to the top. Right here, they're like really close together. But what's causing that is our 3 aerators that we have down at the bottom of the fish tank, and they're creating these bubbles to like have the right levels of oxygen for like a higher stocking density of fish. And what you'll see here are our pumps which are powering these aerators. We have the 2 smaller ones which are they're powered by the battery, and then at night, pretty much when the grid is up, is when we would have the larger AC aerator, which is like this pile of bubbles right here in the middle.
So the next thing we're going to talk about is plant bed operation. It's pretty simple. We have right here an 80-foot long hose. This hose connects to both spigots on the plant beds. Underneath the ground here we have a series of perforated pipes that will flood the plant beds from the bottom up. There are 3 grades of rock that we've used to allow water to flow through it very easily. At the bottom, the coarsest, and at the top we have sand, which will be good for developing decent root structure in the plants. Now, to operate the plant beds is pretty simple. All we have to do is remove this rock, which is protecting one of the O-rings, and screw it on to the nozzle. Alright, once we have a tight seal, we're going to go over to the electrical box and start up the pump that sucks the wastewater from the very bottom of the fish tank and drags it into the plant beds for nutrients. So I'm going to flip the switch, and essentially what's going to start happening is the plant beds will begin to fill up with water. Now we can monitor how full they are by looking in this viewing tube, which just shows how much water we have in the system. After about 25 minutes, you'll see that water starts to peak up above the sand, and at that point the system will automatically shut off. From there, we can adjust how fast we want the water to flow out of the plant beds by adjusting this nozzle. Usually we have it in the off position while we're filling, but afterwards we can either open it up all the way or partially, depending on how quickly we want water to drain out. If we have it all the way open, we found it takes only about 45 minutes for all the water that's stored in the plant bed, which is something around maybe 500 gallons, and that will return into the fish tank. So that's the plant beds in a nutshell.
Okay, well, I will walk you through the electrical system we have set up here. Most of this was assembled back in the States and then brought over with us. As you can see, we are running from grid power. That's on for about 14 hours during the day in Jacmel. That runs over here and feeds our electrical system. As backup power underneath, we have two 6-volt batteries sourced here in Haiti. Put in series, we get a 12-volt power supply. So, let me show you the electrical system itself. We have on the outside just a very simple start button that you may see when we operate the plant beds, and then the main kill switch, and then a child-proof lock to let us open the system, with waterproof inlets for all the cables, and several air intake vents. Underneath is also an air exhaust vent for the hot air. Inside we have a standard Xantrex battery charger and inverter. This is a component that can be easily replaced in Haiti. It's a very common brand down here. Then we have a circuit breaker for the main AC input, a couple of control components down here, a 40 amp fuse for the battery, and a 24 volt power supply that we had to use to power our off-delay timer. This is an adjustable timer. Using the screws on the side, you can set both the scale and the units. Right now it's set to 15 minutes, and it's very easy for them to adjust to a typical plant bed flooding time of something like 25 minutes. We do have some safety features inside here to protect against arc flash. And our tests so far have shown that the heat built up by the Xantrex is pretty well dissipated by all the exhaust vents. So that's our electrical system. And when it's well closed, then we can start the system here. The only other thing worth mentioning is that the Xantrex has an external control panel, and if you can see, turning that on, we now get a display of the battery voltage. Right now it's reading around 11.6 volts. So thank you very much.